Hi, this is Graham Jeacocke. If we look at the world, we can see witnesses of love. Now, the eros type of love, okay? Now, this is seen through marriage, relationships. So when we see a couple walking by, they are the messengers showing other people that you have an opportunity to grab love while you're on this earth. Now, in some relationships, you have bad messengers. Now, how do we recognise this? Well, this is what is referred to as domestic abuse. Now, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. When you see a couple walking down, you don't know if the man hits the woman or the woman hits the man. But they're still messengers, because you are observing with your eyes this couple declaring their love. They're testifying their love. They're being witnesses to love. That is why they kiss in public. They're publicly declaring their love for people to look at. Now, the question is, are these bad messengers nullifying the message that they are part of? Now, the man who abuses the wife, does this man nullify that love is it's not true? No, of course not. Well then, if I contrast something with it, like God's love, okay? There's messengers of God. They're called Jews and Christians and people in general. Now, Jews and Christians are aware of God, but do you know God? That's the different point. That's the different issue. Now, you see, in Mandarin, there's two terms, okay? To recognize someone and to know someone personally. You see, I know what's her name? Kim Kardashian, okay? But I don't know her personally, okay? Now, this is what Jews and Christians, this is the category. We don't know what category they fit, okay? They know God, right? But we don't know if they know Him personally. We can look at their behaviour and we can be pretty sure that something unnatural is happening, because if it's not happening with other people, I mean, how hard is it to be kind to people? It's not natural to be kind, otherwise people would be doing it. So to be kind takes a supernatural effort or supernatural command to tell a person to be kind, because they've seen something. So you see, Christians and Jews are messengers, but a messenger, just like the man or a woman in a marriage or a relationship, domestic abuse can happen. Now, what's a good I'm not saying domestic abuse in the literal sense to apply it to marriage. But the abuse that a Christian endure, they're not being true to what they believe. That's what I meant. They're not being sincere, or maybe they've lost their way, or what. I don't know. But the fact is, these messengers, although these messengers are not representing exactly what they are declaring in how they present themselves, it doesn't nullify that what they are declaring is false. It is true. Just like love is true, even though domestic abuse happens. Because one couple if domestic abuse happens in one couple, does it nullify the other couple to being true or false? I just don't. You see, this is why preaching or being a witness to God is important, because we see evidence that people are lost. People are not as knowledgeable as they make out. Yes, they can recite facts, but they really are lost when it comes to how to present themselves as a human being. They do need guidance. They do need people telling people what to do. And the greatest advice anyone can give somebody is, look to Jesus. Don't look to me. Don't look to a Jew. Don't look to a Christian. You see, in a relationship, right, a marriage, the man and wife, does the man look to the woman to say, oh, love exists, I'll love my wife or my partner? Or does the woman say, oh, I look at this man, I believe in love? Or do these two people need to recognize love for themselves personally before they make that commitment? You see, that's the same thing with believing Christians. No matter if they're public, well-known Christians, or they're just your average believer in the world going around their business, just like me. You see, you don't look up to apologists, you don't look up to preachers, you don't look up to other Christians like you do in a marriage. You see, a couple should look to love and what love is before they get married. If you're looking at eros, okay? But if you're looking at God, you have to know God. And the only way to know God is to see Jesus, because he is a representation in the flesh of what God is. You can relate to a human being. That is why Jesus said there is no, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. You see, God as a being is holy. That is why we can't understand God. But you can understand God by looking at Jesus, because that is what the character of God is. You cannot understand the character of God by judging God as a being, because we are not the same type of being. We will forever be struggling with it. Just like we struggle to understand the nature of energy, or the nature of how the universe is actually formed. Anyway, that's it. Enjoy yourselves.